Hey, what's up, tech nerds? Today I'm reviewing the Logitech MX Master series of keyboard and mouse. I bought the new MacBook Air M1 recently, and I felt like I needed to upgrade my keyboard and mouse to match the experience for when I'm sitting at my desk plugged into my monitor. I decided to go with the Logitech Master MX series keyboard and mouse for Mac. And as far as keyboards and mice go, these were not cheap. So were they worth the steep price point? Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up? It's Andy. If we're just meeting for the first time on my channel, I talk about tech, tips, tricks, tutorials, and product reviews. If you're into that, please consider subscribing and check out my channel for more. Today I'm reviewing the MX Master series keyboard and mouse, and as usual, everything we talk about today is going to be linked in the video description, so you can go check these out for yourself. The Logitech MX Master series is among the premier lineup of keyboards and mice that Logitech offers, if not only for the price point. They are the most pricey keyboard and mouse available, with a couple exceptions. Both the MX Keys and MX Master 3 mouse are $99 each, and they do share some really useful features. For one, they can be paired via either the Logitech unifying receiver that comes with both the devices or through Bluetooth. And if you pair with Bluetooth, you can pair each the keyboard and the mouse with up to 3 other devices. So for me, I have my keyboard and mouse paired with both my MacBook Air, my iMac, and my iPad, which is cool. Yes, it's available on the iPad. Also, both of these are or have rechargeable built-in batteries, which is nice. You don't have to worry about fumbling around with AA's or AAA's or worrying about if you have any spares in the house. And they're rechargeable with USB-C. And as I mentioned in the opening, I bought the MX Keys for Mac and the Master 3 mouse for Mac. So that just means that the keyboard has some Mac-specific keys on it, and they both come in space gray. So let's talk about the mouse first. Again, this is the Logitech MX Master 3 for Mac. It is not an ergonomic mouse per se, but I find it a very comfortable fit in my hand, the shape, and fairly intuitively placed buttons with, of course, you got your buttons on the top and scroll wheel, but on the side you also have a horizontal scroll wheel, forward, back buttons, and a cool gesture button on the bottom where your thumb rests. And with Logitech, all of these buttons are completely customizable. The multi-device pairing is very handy if you're going to switch between computers or even on your iPad, like I said. This works with that too. Just once you get it paired, you can just tap the button to switch between. It switches very quickly and is very reliable. The precision tracking and scrolling is one of the main reasons I decided to buy this mouse. I'm not a mouse nerd, so you can check out these specs here, but I do a fair amount of video editing, so precision was important for me when I was buying a new mouse, and I've had a very good experience so far with how precise the pointer is and the scrolling when I'm using this, including the horizontal scroll wheel as well. Very handy, that is. Speaking of scrolling, it also has a cool fast scrolling feature that you can toggle on or off. And what that is if you're on a web page or in a document and you need to go all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom very quickly, you just flick the scroll wheel. You can feel it. There's some very good feedback in there. It'll shoot all the way to the top or bottom, and then you just slightly hold the wheel to stop it, and you get some nice haptic feedback to tell you that it stopped. I find that super useful and actually use it more than I expected to. And as I mentioned, all of these buttons are completely customizable. There are a lot of buttons on this mouse, but you can customize them to do anything you want within reason. There are some built-in selections for options to customize each button, but you can also customize them with keystrokes. And that is, you can customize them for every app on your computer, or you can customize them for specifically to each application, which is really cool. One of my most used and favorite customizations is the scroll wheel button. Going back to video editing in iMovie, one of the most common key combinations I use is Command B, and that's to split a video clip when doing your editing. And to save myself from having to go Command B all the time, I programmed the scroll wheel button to be Command B. So now when I'm just wearing GB, I just click it, boom, done. And just simple little automations like that can make just usability of a device like this so much better. And I mean, that's when this device starts kind of getting to the price point and it's becoming really worth it, at least for me. Lastly, like I said, it does come in space gray also. So if you care that your mouse matches your computer, there you go. Everything comes with a downside, and this is no exception. Of course, the biggest one being the price point. At $99, you can probably find a lot of good options that are cheaper than this mouse. And you probably even find this on sale now and then on Amazon. I bit the bullet because of all the customizations and the upsides that those result in. And I mean, there are very few downsides. The biggest one being, this is not very portable. You can see the size of this mouse. Portability for me usually comes in size and durability, and although it feels durable just fine, but it's at a mouse I paid $100 for. It's not something I'm just going to turn off and throw it in my bag, right? So, and it's not very small, so it won't fit in a small pouch if you're tugging. If you're putting this inside of maybe your laptop sleeve or something, it's too bulky. It's not going to work. You can buy a third-party case for this if you do want to take it along anyway, or in that Logitech MX series, Logitech does offer a cheaper mouse that is more purpose-built for travel. So probably take a look at that one if that's really something you need to worry about. Okay, over to the MX Keys, the Logitech keyboard for Mac. Again, I bought the for Mac version. This also has that multi-device pairing. So with the 3 keys along the top, you can easily switch between devices you have paired to this keyboard. Again, I paired it with my MacBook Air, iMac, and my iPad, and worked great on all 3, no complaints. Also comes in space gray, so if you really want your desk to look sharp and matchy-matchy, then, you know, there you go. One positive I like about this keyboard, and the first thing I noticed when I took it out of the box, is the weight. Yeah, the weight. Something you may not usually care about when you're buying a keyboard, but the weight is something that I've learned matters. It does have the rubber feet like almost all keyboards probably have, but the combination of the weight and those feet, I find that it rarely ever moves on my desktop when I'm using it. And obviously that's a plus. So when I go to use it, I don't have to look down, I can just go, it doesn't move. So there you go, the weight. Again, this is the MX Keys for Mac. So it's not just that it comes in space gray, but there are Mac specific keys on here. So you don't see a Windows button on the bottom there, for example. You got your command option and control buttons, all your Mac shortcuts along the top, and even some customizable shortcuts in the top right. So very Mac centric layout. I never planned to use this on a PC, so that's why I bought the Mac version, but their other version does have that Windows key and the command key, so it has both keys for Windows and Mac. So if you're going to use this across a Mac and a PC, then go with that other one. If you're not using this for a Windows computer, then go with this. There's just the stuff you don't need isn't there. Okay, the keys and typing, and I'm not one that has ever been too picky about my typing experience on a keyboard. Okay, well, I can't stand mechanical keyboards. They're just clunky and noisy and obnoxious. Okay, rant over. This keyboard has been a pleasure to use, not only from the travel and feedback you get from just typing, but it's very responsive and almost very Mac-like. The keyboard on my MacBook Air is probably my favorite keyboard of all time. It's just so easy to use, again, with the feedback, the travel, and everything else. This comes in at a close second, I would say. When I decided I need a new keyboard, I already decided that keyboard on the Mac itself is the best one that I've used. I use my desk fairly often because of the size of my monitor. So I wanted a keyboard that's going to live up to the experience, and so far the MX Keys for Mac is doing that. And did I mention the keys were also backlit? This is actually really cool. Built into this keyboard are proximity sensors. So as your hand approaches the keyboard, the backlighting will then activate. So you're only using it when you need to, because that does impact battery life. And you know, in the dark, a super handy feature. If you don't have this on your keyboard today, you know how it is on a laptop that has backlighting. Super handy when the lighting just isn't right in the room. And it's available on this, which is a big plus for me. Okay, same downsides as the mouse. The MX Keys also comes in priced at $99. So there are cheaper options. I wanted to have the matching set, so I decided to buy these two. And as I said, the experience feels like I'm typing on a Mac keyboard. The proximity sensors I mentioned are really neat, although they can be a little cumbersome at times when I don't intend to wake my Mac and I'm close by. The proximity sensors will detect that and wake my Mac up. So, you know, sometimes it's convenient, but sometimes it catches me off guard a little bit. In summary, the battery life on both of these things are great. They say you'll get up to 10 days on the keyboard with the backlighting turned on and 5 months with it turned off. And I use mine mostly during the daylight, so the backlighting is not always active. So I'm assuming I'll get somewhere in the middle there, maybe 3 months. I don't know. And the mouse is good for up to 70 days per charge. Now I charge my devices on a regular basis just so my daily work doesn't get interrupted. But so far it hasn't been a problem. Battery life is great and charging is super quick. And last thing, which is worth pointing out, to really get the benefits of both these devices, you need to take advantage of the free Logitech Options software. So Logitech Options, this is a free download from the Logitech website, and this is where you could create all those customizations for your keyboard and mouse. So you see here I have my MX Keys and MX3 Master, or MX Master 3 for Mac, both here. And just click into the device, and here's where you can set all your customizations. So for example, this eject key, maybe I don't want it to eject, I want it to do something else. So you see here's a list of options I could customize it to do. I'll leave that alone. I can turn on app specific customizations if I want to through here as well. You can see the same thing for the mouse. This is where you can customize what each button does. This is where the power of these devices really shines through. Here's the iMovie customization I mentioned, where I have the scroll wheel button do a Command B on the keyboard, and just tons of power here just by customizing it. Again, you can do it for all applications or app specific customizations if you really want to get clever and creative. Lastly is Logitech Flow. This is another feature of the software. It is useful with the MX Master series keyboard and mouse and some of the other lines of Logitech mice and keyboards. And this allows you, as you see, to share the keyboard and mouse across devices. So say you're using this computer on the left and you need to then hop over to the computer on the right. Well, you don't have to press the buttons to switch. You can easily just scroll over, mouse over to the edge of the screen and then continue on the next device. And this is really cool. I've tried this on a Mac and a PC. So I had them set up side by side and I would scroll between the two, and it was pretty great when it worked. I had varying experience with this. You can also copy and paste text and files between the two, which could be very powerful if you have to do a lot of sharing between a PC and a Mac, for example, or two Macs, two PCs, doesn't matter. But again, your miles may vary. My experience was 50-50. It worked for a little bit and then it didn't. And I don't know if that was because the version of software was different between the two devices, or there was a network port security issue, or it was something I didn't use often enough to really dig into it. Now, the requirements are you do need the latest version of Logitech Options installed and running with Flow enabled on both computers, and you have to be on the same network on both computers. So this is a very innovative feature, but I'm not sure one many people use. So that's my take on the Logitech MX Master Series keyboard and mouse. I hope you got some value out of this. If you did, appreciate if you let me know by dropping me a comment down below or hitting that like button. Don't forget to check out my channel for more and subscribe if you haven't yet. That's it, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Later.